that you're very dangerous people.
Okay.
so so they, because always
Like
they are
terrorists?
terrorists. Yeah, so they feel that
Was that the word you were thinking? Was that the word you couldn't think of? Terrorist?
careful. You have to research first. You have to find the right person. You have to get knowledge about Afghanistan, about people, about culture, and then you can travel. So
Okay.
once you have all these, and then I'm sure you Afghanistan is safe. If not, if you just take a flight and go, and it's not safe, so you have uh, to to know a little
Good
bit about
points. Good
Afghanistan. Yeah.
points. Welcome to episode 1 of the Mad Traveler podcast, where we learn about the world one country at a time. My name is Dave Seminara, and I am your host. There are a lot of travel podcasts out there, so you might be wondering, well, why did I start another one? Well, there's a lot of good podcasts out there in the travel sphere, but I've yet to find one where you get to really learn about the world from people who live there, from natives of those countries. And so if you folks appreciate this concept and you like it, the plan is to talk to people from all 193 UN countries, starting with Afghanistan today and going all the way to Zimbabwe. If you folks like the concept and we're successful. Who am I? As I said, I'm Dave Seminara. Very briefly, I am a writer and a former diplomat who lives in St. Petersburg, Florida. I am also a YouTuber, as you may know, and I hope that you'll check out my channel, which is also called Mad Traveler. I've got hundreds of videos documenting interesting places and people from around the world in my travels to more than 80 countries and 48 US states. And I'm just getting started too. I hope to do much, much more traveling in the years to come. So there's a lot of great content heading your way. So I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and the show. Aside from YouTube, you can also find more of my work, especially my writing and some of my photography, as well as the 4 travel books that I've written on my website, which is daveseminara.com, which is spelled DAVESEMINARA.com. All right, with all that said, I am very, very pleased today to welcome our first guest to the show. He is Gull Hussian Baizada. He is a native of Afghanistan, and he was born in the country 2 years after the Soviet invasion, and he grew up in Kabul. In 1996, at age 15, he fled to Pakistan after the Taliban came to power in his home country. He later returned to Afghanistan in 2002, where he worked in different capacities for Global Risk Strategy, the United Nations, and the Aga Khan Foundation. Gull also organized Afghanistan's first mixed gender marathon, and he also helped to establish the National Ski Federation of Afghanistan. You might not even know that there is skiing in Afghanistan. Well, there is. It's one of the things we're going to talk about today. After evacuating from Kabul in August 2021, Gull lived in Italy for 5 months before relocating to New Zealand, where he is joining us from today, from outside of Auckland. And that's where he lives when he's not leading tours to Afghanistan. In 2011, Gull established Silk Road Afghanistan Travel, the first local tour company based in Bamiyan, which you may have heard of. It is home to the country's famous giant Buddhist statues, which are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We're going to talk a little bit about them today too. Silk Road offers a lot of different tours, including walking and trekking tours, ski tours, culture tours, historical tours, lots of other different tours of Afghanistan. So, Gull, I just told everybody a little bit about you there in an introduction. Is there anything that I forgot to mention that's important about you?
No, you mentioned everything. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you again so much for taking your time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
yeah. My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm very happy to be here, and we should
Thank
have
you.
a.
So, ordinarily, I might start out with some basics about the country, but in the case of Afghanistan, I think the first thing that's going to be on many people's minds is, should I go there at all? Is it still safe? So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the travel practicalities and the safety. Because governments oftentimes put out these travel warnings. I used to work for the U.S. government, so I know a few things about travel warnings. And if you read all the travel warnings on the State Department, you probably would never travel to a place like Afghanistan because the government tries to warn you against doing so. At the moment, the State Department has a level 4 travel warning for Afghanistan, which is a do not travel warning. I'm going to read from it. The State Department says do not travel to Afghanistan due to terrorism, risk of wrongful detention, civil unrest, kidnapping, and crime. All right, so none of that sounds positive. So let's just start out with the obvious question. Is it safe for foreigners to visit some places in Afghanistan now?
Yeah, actually, we should respect what the travel warning we received from United States or from other countries. So even from New Zealand, I'm living here. So, but Afghanistan is a diverse country and nation. So, we there's a lots of places in Afghanistan that's are traditionally related to tourism. They are very safe and they're hospital people and they know how to treat with visitors. So since 2011, I was involved in tourism. This warning was there, so the situation was much more worse than that time because all the routes were blocked and a lots of checkpoint. So there was a huge risk of kidnap, explosion, suicide, but still a lot of people was visiting Afghanistan. So we should respect the countries that they are telling the people that not travel, but same times. So it's we should also think about the reality. So there is a life, there is people living there in these countries, and so daily life. So I grew up there. So yeah. So and also if they says it's okay, you can travel, it's also not true, because those who wants to travel, those who wants to they research, they take a little bit risk, they in advance they want to they heard about Afghanistan, about those countries, especially Afghanistan. So then they decide to travel. So Afghanistan is not like Thailand or other countries, just take a flight and go. For Afghanistan, you have to be careful, you have to research first, you have to find the right person, you have to get knowledge about Afghanistan, about people, about culture, and then you can travel. So once you have all these, and then I'm sure Afghanistan is safe. If not, if you just take a flight and go, and it's not safe. So you have to know a little bit about Afghanistan.
Good points. And it helps, I think, to have an experienced guide too, not to travel there by yourself without any knowledge of the country, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now, the Taliban.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gull.
No. It's okay. Yeah.
I was going to say the Taliban has been back in power now since the U.S. and NATO withdrawal back in August 2021. Can you briefly tell us how the country has changed since that time period? You're saying that it's become a little bit more stable by now?
Actually, we cannot say stable. Regarding the security, yes, because before there was a threat, because there was in each country there is people and there is government if there is a risk. But now, before it was people, government, and a risk. So the Taliban was the risk that was creating, but now it's not. So there is no other. So the people are hospital people. The people are kind, and the people. So it's you if you travel, you will feel that how amazing these people are.
The hospitality, that's something we're going to talk about for sure.
Yes. So now we don't feel that there is any risk. All the roads are open. You can travel all around the country. So before it was only possible by flight. Even 2 hours out of Kabul, or 3 hours, like Kabul to Bamiyan, it was not safe. But now you can travel all parts of Afghanistan. So it means the security is stable. Only the economy and the situation for women, so that's really heartbreaking. So because the women are not allowed to school and they are not allowed to work. But there is also some good news. We have female tour guides. So now they are leading the tours.
Really?
Yes, we have 3-4 female tour leaders. So they are doing very well, and also they get support from the Taliban.
That's interesting to hear that there are female tour leaders now in Afghanistan, that the Taliban is allowing that, because there was news, I believe it was in the last week, there was some news that the UN was telling the Taliban, was chiding the Taliban or criticizing them because they were not allowing women to study to become nurses or doctors. So there's an issue with, I guess, that the Taliban is allowing women to do certain types of jobs, but not other ones.
Yeah. Also, so we are working in tourism sector, so I appreciate what they are allowing, at least women to work on tourism sector. But of course, they are not allowing health studies. That's recently banned. That was really not a good news. So we cannot compare. So we can say that, but all is allowing. So we request them that they should allow women to study, allow women to do sport, allow women to work. And so we always request them. So we hope that they should accept this. And so we are also appreciate that they at least they allow female tour leaders, tour guides to work. Yeah.
So as far as someone who decides to travel to Afghanistan goes, what are the implications of Taliban rule for someone who decides to go on a tour of Afghanistan now? Will they encounter the Taliban, for example, at checkpoints? Will they? What do visitors need to know about Taliban rule, essentially, how it's going to impact them on a day-to-day basis while they're there visiting the country?
Yeah. So a travel wants to travel to visit Afghanistan. So they should first, they have to respect the rules. And so the visa, you have to get visa in advance. So you have to obtain visa. So then you have to have a letter, a permission letter, which allows you to travel around the country. It has a small charges as well, like maybe $100 for 5-7 provinces. So then you have to respect the culture, and then you have to respect some of the rules that we have. Then we provide to the travelers if they ask. So if they just travel by themselves, it will be a little bit challenges how they should go and get the permission. It's a little bit complicated. So, but it's
if you hire a tour company, are they going to take care of these things for you?
Yeah, so they will do all these in advance when they arrive, so they will not face any problems. They will not know. But there is always a lot of checkpoint that they want to see the permit. So if you have the permit, the letter, if you have that, so then it's no problem. You can travel.
Okay. Yeah. And so the American citizens and citizens of European countries, Australia, other Western countries, do they almost all of these countries need a visa for Afghanistan in advance? Almost all of them? Yes. So they all need a visa in advance, or there is only one border, Afghan-Tajikistan border, that they need, they will get arrival visa, which is only if they come overland from Tajikistan.
From Tajikistan, they can get arrival visa. And for the rest, then they have to get a visa and
Got it.
near, and their country, maybe in Europe there's a few country that now issue visa, so maybe
Okay.
Spain, Netherlands, and a few other countries, but they need
Okay.
to get visa in advance and to enter Afghanistan.
Is it difficult to obtain that visa?
Yeah, it's very complicated.
It is?
That's one of the biggest challenge as we face now. So they have to get that. It's not easy. It takes few weeks, and maybe from let's say from Italy they travel to Spain to get visa. So that's a little bit challenges. Or
Okay.
they have to fly to Dubai, stay one night or 2 nights there, and then get a visa in Dubai. So
Uh-huh.
that's these
What
challenges.
about Americans?
Yeah, Americans same. So Americans also has to travel to Dubai and stay 2 nights in Dubai, then get visa.
To Dubai?
Yeah,
But again, if you have a tour company, the tour company will advise you on this and help you with the procedure?
yeah. So these are all that we can, as a tour company, we can facilitate and
Okay.
assist. Yeah.
I wonder though, generally, do you have a sense for whether the government, does the Taliban government, would they like foreign tourists to come to the country, or they do not want foreign tourists coming to the country?
No, actually, they are very supporting. So they are supporting tourism industry. So even though there is also some challenges, we have
Mm-hmm.
tourism department that's all trying to introduce Afghanistan as a tourist destination. But same,
Okay.
there is some of the Taliban rules that they are banning women, like even the international women, not to visit these spots, like Bandamir Lake in Bamiyan. That's one of the highlight spots. But then they says that no women are allowed to visit that lake.
To
So
visit the lake. Tell me the name of the lake again. Sorry.
Bande Amir Lake, the blue lake.
Bandi Amir Lake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's a challenging. So you have to still you can go there, but still you have to deal. You have to get use a lot
I
of
see.
contacts, and you reach there.
Was it that they did not want women to visit that lake because they were concerned that they would go swimming in a bathing suit, or why did they not want the women to go to this lake?
Yeah, actually, uh, swimming is everyone knows that it's not possible for them. They will not do this, but so still there's a lots of question that there's no answer yet. So same that why the woman's not allowed to study, not woman to study health. So these are the questions not answered yet. So
So it's hard to say.
yeah.
Okay. Well, what about, I mean, I know some people consider it to be an ethical dilemma of visiting countries where the government, let's say, does not respect women, does not respect human rights to some degree. I'm just being very honest. Obviously, most people, many or most people in the United States and in Europe and other countries do not have a positive impression of the Taliban government at all. I'm just being very honest. Obviously, most people have a negative opinion in the West about this government. So, what are some travelers concerned and they think, well, I don't know if I would like to visit Afghanistan because I'm concerned that my money will go towards the government. So, I wonder, is there a way for people also to visit the country, but to be spending their money so that only the local people and local companies and such are profiting from it and the government is not necessarily profiting? Is there a way to do this?
I think it's now to be honest. So now most of the money. So I can say that 90% of the money goes to the people. So
Mm.
if so, this is what because I'm dealing with that, and I do the finance. So yes, so maybe 10% will help the government, but
Mm-hmm.
90% goes to the hoteliers, to the transport, and to the food, to the restaurant, and 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 so if you compare then you will say that okay, it's nothing. But to help people, the people that's all locked economically, and uh, so Afghanistan is like, I always feel that like a big jail. So if you go there and meet them and 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 support them, it's not a good, it's not a bad idea. So it's just a support.
Right. And the people in Afghanistan certainly need the help with their economy, don't they? I've
Yes,
also read that hunger and poverty remain huge difficult issues in Afghanistan, do they not?
yes, that's true. So I always say that we should not forget people of Afghanistan. People should go visit people, and if people see that, at least they see the other nation visiting them, and they at least they feel that there is a hope for future. And so if we can do that, why not? So I request and ask that they should visit Afghanistan, and they should meet people, and should see the people.
Well, that's one of the main reasons why I have long wanted to visit Afghanistan. Aside from the fact that it appears to be a very beautiful country, it has a lot to see. What I've read and seen so much about it, especially on YouTube videos and elsewhere, and from some of the books I've read about Afghanistan, the thing that Westerners always talk about after a visit to Afghanistan is the hospitality. There really is a culture; it's an ingrained part of the culture there is to be kind to visitors, isn't it? Tell me a little bit about Afghan hospitality and what are the requirements of the culture, or what is expected of you as a host when you encounter a stranger or a traveler. What are you supposed to do as an Afghan person?
So I think for travelers, if they respect their culture, and that's what Afghans want. So Afghans are so they're amazing people. So I can now, I'm 3 years that I'm for. So I miss them. Actually, I miss my people. And so once you visit Afghanistan, I'm sure you will fall in love with the country, and with the people, with the hospitality, with the food, with the nature. So so I'm sorry if I did not give you the right answer, but so yeah, so this is what I can say about people of Afghanistan, about yeah.
I remember, I think it was was it Rory Stewart's book, The Places in Between, I think it was called, where he sort of traveled around all around Afghanistan. And I remember him talking about the culture of hospitality there and that people feel an obligation to help you if you are a visitor. And many people invited him in for meals, they invited him for tea. Many people also invited him to stay in their houses. Is that customary? Is that normal in Afghanistan for people to feel this desire to let a foreigner come and stay with them or have tea with them or invite them for a meal? Is that typical?
Yeah, it's our culture. It's the culture. So I experience uh, a lot, even as a Afghan, and also I was traveling with my guests. So we traveled, and remote countrysides. So let's say in the cities, okay, it's different because it's all business. But if you're out of Kabul, and you're in countryside, so they will not accept the money. So you can stay in their home. You can they will cook the best food for you, and so
And they
there's
will not take money?
no, there's the money, it's not there, against the traditional. So if some, but we, if you can just, what we were doing, we are putting some money under the pillow, under the mattress, or so we were doing that. But if you pay directly, it's feel, if you go someone's house and then you pay, so this is like a disrespect.
Disrespectful. But it's not disrespectful to hide some money somewhere in the house for them? Is that disrespectful too or no?
No, at least you can put some money, or so what we were doing, because if someone gives you food, so that money is nothing to so because he gave whatever he like let's say I was traveling in a remote country side, and he had a few chicken, like 3 chicken, so he killed one of the chicken, cooked for us. So then, so it means that he cooked some of his whatever he had. So
Yeah.
so how I can say that this money, like maybe uh, $20 can, so it's impossible.
Right. You can't compensate someone for
Yes,
something like that, can you?
yeah, that's
Let's talk about female travelers. We mentioned the issues that women might have before. I saw on your website, which is Silk Road Afghanistan.com, by the way, and I think the site is going to be live sometime in 2025 January. You're still developing the site now, but I saw that you had an article about should women travel to Afghanistan, and what is the answer to that? Obviously, women need to dress differently and to act differently. Can you actually recommend Afghanistan as a place for American women, British women, women from other countries to visit?
yeah. So we had already lots of women traveling Afghanistan, and
You
they
have?
are, yeah. So they also got highly respected from the people, from the authorities, and from, so because woman has a high, so let's forget about the politics, about the situation now, the
Yeah.
rule, but traditionally, so women are highly uh, respected in Afghanistan. It doesn't matter if it's a visitor, it's an Afghan woman, so if it's American, if it's a European, it doesn't matter. So women are women, so they are respected among people. But so if it's a visitor, say, so will be a question why the visitors, like a tourist, can travel everywhere but not Afghan. So these questions are not. I don't have the answer,
Hmm.
and so I don't know when we'll get the answer. Yes. So as you asked about, they should uh, wear the the proper clothing, and they should yeah, they should not like shake hand, they respect some cultures, as a Afghan woman do, they should do, that's fine, and they can travel Afghanistan without any problems, and they will receive a lots of respect, a lots of help if they need help and support, so there will be always people to help them.
So the female travelers you have had on your trips from other countries, did they have the same sort of feedback or positive experience as the men, or similar, different?
Actually, they had their feedback was much it was better and great for on the when they received from the people, from the authorities, but only one thing, they when they see other women, so that they are not allowed to study, they are not allowed, so then there's a heartbreaking, for sure the women feel more and feel
Upset?
other women better than us.
Yeah.
So in that part, yes, so they are more feeling the pain.
But the feedback you received from female travelers, you're saying generally was even more positive than the feedback from men?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
enjoyed the country even more.
yeah, they enjoy the country more, so they are, so as I mentioned, so the female travelers, they are allowed to travel, they are allowed to take pictures, they are allowed to go to the historical sites and most of the places, but the Afghan women, they have to have someone with them, as a mahram we call, and they are so there's a lots of rules strict that abandon women, so yeah, so for a female traveler, so there is no restrict, no issue, so they will enjoy the country, but only one thing that they will see their women's that same genders that they are suffering. So that's another part that
An issue.
yeah.
Now, if a woman is traveling with, let's say, a man, but they are not married, is that a problem?
So we uh, that's not actually so we had women in our groups. So we had like 10 people, 5 women, 5 men. So they are traveling
Okay,
together. So there's no problem. So they didn't know
no
each other
problem.
before.
Okay,
So that's no problem. But
okay,
of course, we have something in our like taking a room. So then the hotelers, well,
right.
so this is another issue.
So you have to have a separate room.
Yeah, yeah, you have to have a separate room, and then if you're a couple, you're so then it's okay. So in Afghanistan, but if it's a traveler, so because even for a travelers and the hotels, so you don't know anyone in this hotel who is
Right.
yeah.
So tell us about a little bit, but so how do you get to Afghanistan these days? Like, where do most of the flights come from? So when you're bringing a group there from, let's say, Europe or North America, where are the major airlines or flights from? Like, if I'm searching for flights to Kabul, what airlines or cities am I most likely to come there from?
Yeah, so now uh, mostly from Dubai, from
Okay.
Istanbul, Turkish airline fly Dubai, and then we have one flight from Moscow,
Hmm.
and then we have from Pakistan. So we have all these flights
Those are
uh,
the options.
options.
And
Yeah,
is it expensive, the flights?
uh, maybe a little bit expensive than others because it's uh, not much option. So
Right.
yeah,
And is that going to be extra if I book a tour to Afghanistan? The flight is usually not included in the cost of the tour, right? Do I pay extra for the flight usually?
yeah. So the international flights are not included to the price that the tour companies gave. So
So that's extra
yeah, domestic flights are managed by
included.
the included by the packages.
And would you say that most travelers, most foreigners who are visiting Afghanistan now, are they coming as part of a tour group or are some visiting independently without any guide?
Yes, we had actually we get a lot of requests that people ask us independence. Like they ask me that okay, just give me 1 day service as a tour guide or 2 days. But it's when we see that they are traveling, so we don't know that okay he needs 1 day in Kabul, but the rest of the day we are here. If I send him an invitation later, and it means and the later we write that we are responsible, we take care of him, and then
Right.
receive the visa. When we leave him or her in Afghanistan, we don't know where he or she is, so it's a big risk. So we always ask that they should have a full package, and
Yeah.
so they should travel with a guide, and
Yes.
so it's a peace of mind for us and for
Sure.
their family. Yeah,
Because if someone only books with you for one day and then they go off traveling on their own and something bad happens to them, then maybe your company is responsible, right?
yeah. So that's uh, what we are afraid, and we do not want that to happen.
Right. So let's just talk about that then for a minute, the practicality of it. So if you book a tour to Afghanistan, will there be security included, like a security guard, or is there, I mean, does a tour group need like an armed security, like with a gun, or no?
Yes, so we in some parts, so uh, the the armed guards are needed. So when we go there, we when we go to each provinces, and we inform the tourism department there that we are in the city, so we need your support. And
Okay.
then they will contact the security if they feel that you need security, if they feel that, so they will provide
Sure.
you like 2 armed guards,
So
and
the
they will,
government provides that
yes, so the
to
government
keep the tour group safe.
safe, yes.
Well, that's
And
good.
yeah, even though you enter in a city, and then you inform them, and you give the permit and say, oh, I have the permit, and they will say, okay, you should enjoy your trip, but still there is too intelligent. They are, you can feel that they are around you,
They're watching you.
they are watching you. So we have two kind of security. Yeah,
Intelligence services and then actual security guards with
security.
guns and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So they're keeping an eye on the groups to make sure that the foreigners are safe, but they're also watching what you're doing to make sure that you are not they're not behaving badly, or that they're not spying or taking pictures of military or things like this.
yeah, it could be. Yeah,
Things like that.
yeah.
Okay. So if someone comes to you and they say, okay, Gull, I have a 1 week vacation, or let's say if they have 2 weeks off or 1 week off, what are the places in the country that you recommend?
So we have,
The safest ones also.
yeah, so we have the three highlight city. So it's Mazar Sharif, the,
Mazari Sharif, okay.
yeah, the Blue Mosque. So, and
Yep.
then we have uh, Bamiyan, the
Bamiyan.
Buddha and the
Yeah.
Bandamir, and then we have Herat.
Herat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if someone asks me for 7 days, 1 week, so we gave them this options,
These three.
just three,
Okay.
and then we add like Kandahar, then we add other parts, and then because also there is other parts of Afghanistan which is a little bit far, Wakhan
Further to
corridor,
get to, yes.
Wakhan
Yes, the
corridor.
Wakan corridor I've heard of. Very
Yeah.
interesting place,
So
right?
this needs another like 10-15 days trip, so
Additional.
additional. And then we have Nuristan, so which is about 5 days or 6 days.
Which place?
Nuristan.
Nuristan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we have another 5 or 6 days extra. So then we it depends on their time, then we can offer our tours.
Okay. So let's start with Mazari Sharif. What is the most important site, or why go to Mazari Sharif?
Yeah. So Mazar Sharif, the first one is the beautiful mosque. So I think it's
I've seen
one
it
of,
on YouTube. It looks
yeah,
amazing.
it's amazing. It's you will find peace there. So, and then we have Balkh city, which is really ancient. It's really
How do you spell it?
Balkh, Balk. So it's Balkh.
BALK.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this city is, I think, one of the oldest city. We can say, sometimes we can say the mother of the land. So it's very old, and
Okay.
you will see really uh, the beauty and the heritage there. And also in Mazar Sharif there is the oldest mosque, which is in Balkh city. So actually it's a 2 days trip uh, for Mazar Sharif. You will see a lots of things, a lots of uh, people, culture, food, and historical
Mm-hmm.
sites. Yeah, and nature.
And what about Herat?
Herat, again, Herat
Herat.
is again in Herat. The masalas, the minarets. There are 4 minarets exist there. It's, even though it's under danger, so it's one is a little bit uh, so under danger, so it's like we feel that it's collapsing. So
Okay.
and there is like say more than 10 places to visit, like beautiful old bridges and old mosque and the
Okay.
beautiful mosque and the citadel. So it's amazing city, and the old city, it used to be covered city, and so these are amazing sites. So
It sounds great. I've heard a lot
yeah,
about this place. What about Bamiyan?
yeah. So Bamiyan, yeah. So Bamiyan, we have the Buddha. So
Right.
unfortunately, so uh, the it's nothing. The body is not exist anymore, but still you can see the frame and you can feel it, how the Buddha looks there. And the caves we have
Now
about
the Taliban exploded the statues, correct?
yeah, yeah. So
When was that?
it was uh 2011, no,
Is
2001, 2001.
2001, a
Yeah,
long time ago. Is it
a long.
possible that they will be rebuilt ever or no?
Actually, when I was in Bamiyan, so my office was just in front of the Buddha. So between
Oh, really?
Buddha and my office, there was nothing. So it was just a few minutes walk. So we were uh, uh, encouraging the UNESCO to rebuild it, and so they also was interested. But same time, the situation never allowed to start work and to decide. So, but still, I'm not sure that this government will rebuild it.
We'll rebuild it. Well,
But
is it
it's
still
possible.
interesting to see?
A lot.
Is it now
It's
still interesting?
yes, it's amazing. If you walk there, you can feel that. You can feel the Buddha. If it's not exist the body, but you can feel the Buddha. It's a holy place.
And is the surrounding area very nice also? Is it known to be a beautiful area?
Oh my God! So this is why this Buddha was carved there, because of the beauty. And in front of the Buddha, there is beautiful mountain range, which is even in summer, it's you can see the snow there. So we were talking about Iski, so the Iski was happened there. Beautiful valleys, and it's amazing. So you can only not see the Buddha. There is the valleys. You can hiking, and takes a month. You can hike these valleys and beautiful
So if
villages.
you're into hiking, Afghanistan is a wonderful place to visit, correct?
Yes, you will love it. So a lots of untouched tricks that no one
Trails.
did yet, trails yet. So
Okay, and tell us, you mentioned the skiing. Tell us about skiing. Where do you go skiing in Afghanistan?
yeah, so Iski, as I just mentioned, it's in Baba Mountains and in Bamiyan.
It's in Bamiyan, the
In
ski
Bamiyan,
resort. Okay.
it's not far. Like let's say 20 minutes from Bamiyan
Okay.
center, from the Buddha. You can drive,
Okay.
then you will be uh, at the bottom of the mountains. So
Okay.
so it's these mountains are about 5,000 meter high. So
Okay.
it's beautiful. It has a lots of what do you call lakes on the top of the mountains.
Okay.
So then the villages and the ski slopes. So it's amazing. I think for skiing, it could be one of the best destination.
In the world?
It could be because, but now it's nothing. We don't have any chair left. Nothing. We have no.
So you have to trek to the top, or how do you get to the top of the ski slope?
You have to walk.
with your skis.
Yeah, with your skis, and then then maybe 2-3 hours walk, and then 5 minutes come down.
5 minutes down. So it's a lot. It's a lot of exercise. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah, that's.
Do you think they will ever build chairlifts there?
So actually, I was part of the ISKI Federation, so we were talking with different people, with our international friends. So we did a lot. We did our best, but unfortunately, the situation didn't allow us to do much. Even now, I think it's I can at the moment there is one documentary. It's in maybe in United States now, and so it's screening. It's called Golden Valley.
Golden Valley.
Golden Valley. So
Okay.
it's now screening in different cities. So I was part of that documentary,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, I was arranging all the logistic and finding the right
Now, do local
place.
people, do any local people ski in Afghanistan, or this is just something that foreigners come to do?
Oh, actually, the locals used to do their own way, so like a traditional way. So they were not having proper ski. So they had a piece of wood, and the kids were going and sitting on the wood and coming down. So this
Sledding.
is sliding. And not only in Bamiyan and Panjshir Valley, still this was their huge fan and something for them. But then in 2011, 2009, first time. So then I was working for tourism a project. So then we said that why not we should bring ski. So then same time there was also some skiers find they came by their own. So and then we were discussing with them how is the possibility. Finally, we wrote a by this project that we were working. So then we did a ski guidebook, which is two
Okay.
American skiers. So they that months. So they hike these mountains. They ski all the valleys and the mountains. So they write the book. So this book is amazing.
Okay.
So yeah. So after
And what
that,
is the name of the book?
so it's a ski guidebook, Afghanistan ski
Okay.
guidebook. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
We'll check that out.
yeah.
Now, tell me, if you're not planning on skiing in Afghanistan, if you're just coming there and you would like good weather, what time of year do you recommend for the best weather for touring in Afghanistan?
So I think I recommend uh, spring and autumn. So spring
Okay.
it will be uh, April, May, and then it will be the best time. Actually, Afghanistan has four season. Each season has own beauty. But these 2 months in spring and 2 months in autumn
In
is
autumn are the
amazing.
best.
The best. You
Okay.
can see the beauty. You can see more.
So for the three cities that you recommended, the weather is very good, usually in the spring and autumn.
Yeah. So actually, Herat and Mazar, it's a little bit warm. Then Bamiyan is very cold. It's inside the mountains.
Gull, we haven't talked about Kabul at all. So we talked about those three cities. Obviously, people are probably going to fly into Kabul, though. Do the visitors provide you good feedback also about Kabul, or do they prefer the three other cities that we discussed? And on your tours, how much time do you spend in Kabul versus the other three places?
Yeah. Actually, Kabul. Uh, so it's you. There's a lot to see in Kabul. Lots of activities in Kabul. So yes, why I did not mention, because I always Kabul is the place you come. You have always half day. Then you have to next day you go to another province, and then you will come again, and then you will have another
At the
day
end?
at the end. Then you have another day. So there is always not maybe full day, maybe half of day. Maybe sometimes it depends on time. You can have full day in Kabul. It's a lot to see in Kabul. So
Okay.
so you can in Kabul, then you can see multinational Afghan. So you can ethnics. So you can see all faces, and you can feel the diversity of the
All the different
Afghanistan.
ethnic groups of the country are represented in Kabul,
In
right?
Kabul, yes.
Okay.
And
How are we going to get around in Afghanistan? Are we going on like tour buses or getting from one place to another? How do people get from one place to another?
oh, for locals, it's all the buses, the local shared taxis. But for the visitors, so there will be private mm, cars, like you rent a car and you go. And then but there is also options for buses, but it takes long wait.
Right.
And so the best with for now, all the travelers, they are going through their own private cars, and
But
they
on your
travel.
tours, are you also taking flights to different places or within the country? Are you taking any flights on some tours?
Yes, we get at least 2 3 flights for a 15 days or 14 days trip. So if we go to Mazar Sharif, and one way we drive, one way we fly, because it takes we do not want to waste one day again in same road. So we go
Okay.
by road to see the beautiful road and view.
Yeah.
Then we can fly back. Same from like, let's say from Kabul we go to Kandahar, Herat, then from Herat back to Kabul flight. So these
Okay.
are, yeah.
Let's talk about the roads from the cities that we're talking about, places we're talking about visiting. How good are the roads or bad?
Yeah, actually, the routes are not so bad, but it's always under construction. So there's always natural disasters. So they destroy. So then it needs rebuild. So the routes are, let's say, from Kabul to Herat, it will be 16 hours drive, but the route
Mm,
condition will be, it will be a challenging. You have to have uh, to be very comfortable. You need to have a four-wheel drive to go there.
right.
So, but there's also buses are also traveling. So big buses. That's for the locals.
Hmm.
For a visitors, so it's better to have a better car. So there's always construction on the road. You have to take another road till, because it's under construction. So it's not bad to complain, but it's not uh, a good road like other paved roads. So
And are you often stopping at checkpoints? Does the Taliban have checkpoints set up all around the country where you have to stop and show your paperwork?
some places, not much. Even now it's much better. Before was a lot, and the security was everywhere because the situation. But now it's there's a few checkpoint if you show the documents. And basically, when you enter to the city, there is a checkpoint. So
Okay.
not
And do you have to pay if you're a traveler? Do you have to pay at the checkpoint some money to get through or no?
no, only the later.
Just the letter.
Yeah,
And is there a national airline?
yes, we have, actually we have two airline. One is the government airline, which is the oldest, called Ariana.
Okay.
And then we have another as a private, is Comair. So
Okay.
so these two operate domestically, so inside the country, but also Comair also fly to Emirates and Pakistan. So they they do like Iran.
How is
So
their safety record?
oh, actually, Come here is the mm, I think it's good, so you feel safe. And then we have the government one, which is a little bit uh, we for travelers. So we always recommend first the private one,
The private one is better.
better, and the
Okay.
government. So we I think that was used to be one of the best airline in the past, but now it's not good
Not
as
so
before.
good.
Yeah.
What about the accommodation, the types of hotels and guest houses that travelers will be staying in the country? Can you describe to me what sort of quality of accommodation travelers can expect in the cities that we have discussed, and how much does it cost per night?
Yeah, actually, the accommodation is very good in Afghanistan. So, so let's say for most of travelers, like a standard accommodation. So it's very comfortable. It's beautiful hotels, beautiful views, and nice rooms, attached bathrooms. It's clean, and then we have like 5 star, and not in each city, but in Kabul, and maybe four stars in Herat. So then we have the category. Then we have the guest houses, and also the hotels that they are not standard. So, but it's good for. Before we were using before so when I was in Afghanistan, we were using mostly for some cities the very low profile guest houses, which were the price was about $50 or $40. But now the beautiful hotels are now open, because before we were concerned about security, so we are not putting our guests in the hotels, because then the hotels were more targets. So we were feared to be a low profile and no one should know, and there was no sign sometimes in the guest houses. But now it's the hotels are receiving, and so there's no concern about like suicide or kidnap. So then the guest can,
So, yeah,
yeah.
so now I was just going to say, like, let's say I want to stay in the absolute nicest hotel in Mazari Sharif or Herat. Give me an idea of how much that would cost.
So it will cost about $100 per night.
Hmm.
Yeah,
What about not the nicest one, but a decent one? How much could it be?
it will be about $50,
What
$60.
about unique or interesting festivals or cultural events? Are there any events? It could be a sporting event, it could be a cultural event, it could be a holiday. Like, is there any time of year where you're like, wow, I'd really like to go to this place in Afghanistan at that specific week or day in order to experience some event
Yeah,
or
actually,
festival, things like
yeah,
this?
yeah. Actually, we have like a New Year uh,
Hmm.
celebration, which is amazing, which was amazing, but now it's a little bit strict. So we have still we are doing, but not like before, because the new government is not supporting that. So this was a unique, this Nowruz festival, this a New Year celebration, which was
How do you pronounce the name of it? Nowruz?
Nowruz. Yeah,
Okay.
it means
And
the
what
new.
happened? What happens?
And that day, so there was like in Mazar Sharif, and there was a celebration in the mosque. There was a flag, a very tall flag was rising, and it's also people feel it as a religious celebration. Also, it's a nature, because it's a new day, a new year is starting. So lots of people coming, women, children, old, everyone was trying to be as close as possible to that flag, and wish for new year and a beautiful life. But now it is happening, but not as before, because women are not allowed, and so it's half of the the people are not allowed. So, and then we have the sports. We have buskashi actually.
Yes, I've
It,
heard of this sport. It's very
yeah,
unique, isn't it?
this is very unique, and this buskashi is in winter. It's happening uh, each week, like every Friday,
Every
like
Friday in the winter.
in winter. It's happening in Mazar Sharif, and there is mm, a lots of expensive horses, heavy horses. They all come from villages and they come to the city. It's a huge event, so it's amazing.
How do you explain very briefly that sport? Like, what is the goal or what's the purpose of bushkezi, or how is it pronounced?
Yeah, buskashi,
Bushkeshi.
bus, we say goat, goat, and goat pulling. Kashi means like pulling. So there's
Goat
the,
pulling.
yeah. So this is if we translate it.
Hmm.
So the game is actually, it's really complicated. It's if you go there for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you will not know that what's happening there.
But it might
So
still look interesting, even if you don't know what's going on, right?
yeah, so you will see the real power of the horse there. So the real, players. So if you see like a football players, if you see other games, but if you see a player and Buskashi, you will forget how strong should be to play this game.
Hmm. Okay.
And we call them chapandas. Chapandas is the players of the Buskashi.
Hmm.
So this game is actually, I don't know exactly, but it's our from long time ago. It's actually, it will be from the, not from also from Afghanistan. It will be from Uzbekistan or Turkmenistan. So
Hmm.
these sports is very famous. And then this happens north also, and the central of Afghanistan, in Kabul. So this is very unique, and people go travel and to watch this. This is like our national sports.
National sport. So you have to come in the winter, though, if you want to watch that.
Yeah, in summer you cannot do because the horse
Too hot.
too hot. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
we have experienced that. We saw the horse was died
Is
because of
suffering.
the
So,
suffering.
Gull, let's talk about food. Very important topic. Wherever I travel in the world, really one of the most important factors of how much do I love the country is about the food. Do I really like the food or I don't like the food? So tell us about what are the most important dishes for to eat when you're visiting Afghanistan?
I think the first is Kabuli palau.
Pilau,
Yeah, palau. It's a Kabuli palau
Kabuli
and
pilau. It's specialty
Kabuli
of
palau.
Kabul.
Yeah,
Okay. So
and
it's
then we
there's
have,
pilaf. Many countries have pilaf, but this is a different version of this.
yeah, Kabuli palau. Yeah, this is a version. And then also each city has its own. Then we in north, then you have Uzbek palau,
Right.
so which is very famous for them. And then we have the street food, which is very tasty, and everybody maybe talk about it. It's called bulani. Bulani,
Bulani.
yes.
Okay.
So this is one of, I think, the oh, amazing. I love it. Even we in New Zealand, we cook in our events, so people
Do you?
looking for bulani. Yeah. So bulani. Then we have oshak and mantu.
What is the bulani?
Bulani is like a bread, but inside you put, there's two kind of bulani. One is inside you put leek, and then that's a vegetable for those who
Leeks, yeah.
don't eat leeks. And then we have a potato.
Potato.
Yeah, but also people make different from the pumpkin. They make from recently there is a bologna shop that they make also chicken inside. But this two is very famous. So each families are inviting each other. They cook. This is like our traditional food, and also you can find it on the street and all corner of Kabul and all provinces you can find. If you're hungry, you just
Bulani.
walk, find
Everywhere
a
bulani.
bolani.
And the Kabuli pilau has what type of, it has rice and spices, and what type of meat is in it?
Oh, so the Kabuli palau has lamb, mutton,
Okay.
and then rice and raisin and carrot.
Raisins, okay. And
Yeah,
carrots. So
carrots.
raisins, carrots, rice, lamb, and mutton. All of that.
No, the lamb. So
Lamb
lamb.
or mutton.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
and this is the Kabuli palau. So when when there is a big event like a wedding party, so there is always Kabuli palau.
Now, what would it cost? Give us an idea of how much it costs to go out and have a meal at a restaurant in the cities that we have discussed.
Yeah, so it will cost if you like a basic food like on the street like bulani, it will cost to have on the street something to eat. It will be $1 to $2. Let's say you will be full, you will be satisfied. If you are
Okay.
going to a nice restaurant, it will be from $5 to $10. So then
Okay.
you will have a beautiful lunch or
There's
dinner.
also, many of the videos that I've seen about Afghanistan too. Foreigners like the prices there very much. They consider it to be cheap, right?
Yeah, actually it is. So when I say about $5 to $10, and they can try everything, so
Hmm.
they can have as
So
much
that's a
as
big
they
meal.
that big meal. Yeah,
That's a big meal. There are also some very nice fresh juices that you can buy on the street there, aren't there?
yeah.
Pomegranate. Do you have pomegranate juice, or what
Wow.
kind of delicious juice can you get on the street?
Yeah. So we pomegranate. It depends on the season.
Okay.
So especially winter. After autumn, the pomegranate starts. So you have all winter so juice, pomegranate juices, and then you have apple. I think one of uh, uh, very tasty juices of apple because the
Apple juice,
apple juice, and then you have carrot juice, which
carrot
is
juice.
yes, which is really tasty, especially in Herat
Really?
province. And then so then you have but yeah, then we have other fruits like watermelon, yellow melon, which is people don't prefer to have juice, but they want to try it. They travel, they want to sit down, they stop the car, and because you
Hmm.
can find on the road, so people selling. So
So you can eat and drink very well in Afghanistan.
so I think the food in Afghanistan is amazing. So
Is it
yeah.
amazing? But for those who drink alcohol, you cannot drink alcohol in Afghanistan, can you?
No, when we are in Afghanistan, you should you're like on a date. So yeah, diet,
you're
yes.
you're like on you're like on a what? What did you say? On a date?
No, not date. In a diet, so you prefer
A
to
diet. Okay,
a diet,
sorry.
yeah.
So no alcohol in Afghanistan anywhere in the country. Is that correct?
No,
Like even
it's
a foreigner's restaurant does not have a secret supply of alcohol, do they?
no.
No, because in some Muslim countries, it's not easy to find alcohol, but there are some places where secretly you can drink it. But Afghanistan is not some place like
Uh,
that, huh?
Before it used to be like 3 years back, so there was some secret places,
Okay.
but that was always possible. but now it's not possible. It's a big risk if someone is doing this.
Yes.
So yeah, so uh, yeah, but I can tell you, Afghanistan also famous for the grapes.
Okay.
So sometimes it's
So the
when
grapes are also good. But
also
people can
got.
make their own homemade wine from the grapes.
So
But it would be
traditionally,
risky.
so so Afghans traditionally, so it's feel it's forbidden because it's Islamic country.
Right.
So if I know that the neighbors are making, so it's so it's like a shame for a family to make it. So it's
Right.
because being a Muslim, but I always feel that that's a waste because we see a lot of grapes in the season. You see a 7 kg of grapes, $1.
Wow.
So
So you
it's
can get
like
7 kilos of grapes, which is about 15 pounds. 15 pounds of grapes cost $1.
$1 in the season.
Oh
So
my goodness.
you can see the field of the oh my god. So then you feel that, oh, what a waste. If it wasn't,
Yeah.
if you are
Yeah.
allowed, so it's a huge business.
Let's talk about a few basics that we didn't cover yet. One thing that I find interesting that I read here in the US is that we have in our census data, Afghans who move here to the United States, they are counted, I read, as Middle Easterners. But Afghanistan is not in the Middle East. This is a common misconception or mistake. Is that right?
Yeah, actually, even here, sometimes people think as so this is not true. Yeah,
It's South Asia, correct? Is that
yeah,
what?
South Asia.
Right. But it's a little
But
confusing for Americans, though, because we don't consider people from Afghanistan to be Asian. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, and also we in Afghanistan we called ourselves that we are from heart of Asia.
From the
So
heart of Asia. That's what you say. So it's South Asia.
yeah,
So let's show where it is here on my map. I don't know if this shows up too well where I'm pointing
yeah,
here, but basically, this is where Afghanistan is. So we'll talk
yeah,
about the neighbors. So it's bordered by Pakistan. So you've
yeah,
got Pakistan here to the south, right?
yeah,
And then you've got Tajikistan here in the north,
yeah,
right? Uzbekistan,
yeah,
Turkmenistan. And you got Iran to the
yeah,
west. Am I forgetting any, or is that in China? Of course, then you've got China to the
yeah,
east,
yeah, small China. Yeah,
a
yeah,
small little bit of China, Uzbek. So
yeah.
you've got, so all told, there's Pakistan, Turkmenistan,
Pakistan,
Uzbekistan,
Pakistan,
Tajikistan, and
Tajikistan,
China, all these
China.
countries.
Yeah, Iran.
So
Yeah,
right here, basically in the heart of Asia.
yeah.
And your company is named Silk Road. So why don't you quickly tell people? So the Silk Road was this ancient trading route, and Afghanistan was part of the heart of the Silk Road. Is that right?
Yeah.
But
So
this
yeah,
was an ancient trading route, correct? And
yeah.
it was where the silk was being. This was for silk was being produced in China, or it was the end country. It was going to China. The silk.
So it was produced in China and
Yeah,
going to Europe or
to Europe. Right.
India. So then Afghanistan was in the middle, so was crossing.
Was in the middle on the way.
Yeah, on the way.
And now the two most common languages are Pashto and Dari. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the Persian, Farsi, and Dari, Farsi and Pashto, we say, and then we have others like Uzbek, Turkmen. Then we have Pashai. So we have then a small.
But what is the most common language of the country?
It's a Farsi, Persian.
Farsi.
Yeah, Persian. Yeah,
Same language that's spoken in Iran.
same, but the only a little bit different is accent. So,
Different accent. Okay.
yeah,
And about, for example, like what percentage of the country can understand or speak Farsi, would you say? Estimate.
I can say maybe 70 to 80%.
So most of the country can understand it.
Yeah, because
So tell us,
yeah,
how do you say hello in Farsi?
uh,
Afghan with the Afghan accent.
Salam alaikum. Salam.
Salam alaikum.
Yes. So when we say like salam, salam is hello.
Salam. Yeah.
Yes. So
Now
this
that
is
works in many Muslim countries, saying salam.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What about saying thank you? Is it shukran?
No, tashakur.
No.
Tashakur.
Teshakur. That's the same in Turkey.
Yeah, tashakur. And then in Pashto, then we say manana.
Manana
Manana in Pashto.
in Pashto.
Yeah.
So teshakur is the same in Turkey. So that comes from maybe Turkish language. I don't know.
Maybe.
Is it possible?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
possible. Yeah.
And so Pashto is spoken by the Pashtuns.
Yeah. So actually, uh, most of even the Pashtuns, they uh, because the Farsi is very sweet and it's very easy. So um, as I said, 70-80% speak Farsi, and then I can say like also maybe 50% also can speak Pashto because it's also the second language, but now it could be the first language. So
Okay.
yeah, but now the Taliban wants to everything in Pashto because most of the authorities, the high level, they are Pashtun. So, but
All right. So
but
there's four. The last estimate I saw was there was 41 million people in the country. And so tell us, other than the Pashtuns, what are the major ethnic groups of Afghanistan?
so there's a Tajik. So the Pashtun, Tajik, Hazara, Uzbek, Turkmen, then others. Then we have Baluch. Then we have so the four
And
major. Yeah.
how are the relations now between the different ethnic groups? Is there peaceful coexistence? Are there still very, very separate communities that marry within each other? Or how are the relations between these different ethnic groups right now, 2025?
Yeah, still we have separate communities, uh, but in 20 years, so there was a lot of changes.
Now,
So a lot.
one more question about security. We're almost done here, but one more question about security. There have been, in the past years, some terrible incidents of foreigners being taken hostage, being kidnapped. There's even have some who have been beheaded, things like that. But has anything like that happened recently in Afghanistan? Like, let's say in the last year or two?
Yes, last I think only one incident happened last year. It was May, I think. I don't remember the exact.
2023?
23 happened in Bamiyan province, where this was used to be the safest place
Okay.
in Afghanistan. So it happens, unfortunately. So we lost at least 5 to 6 people and 4 foreigners. And so that was a big sad news. And so, and I some of my friends that I know them, and so they were drivers. They were also killed. So yeah, so
Oh, no.
it happened. So
I think I remember reading about this, but can you please
yeah.
refresh our memory of exactly what did happen there?
So yeah, so they were a group. Usually, they were walking on the street and meeting people, and then there was one guy. Still, it's not recognized. Still, we are not. They did not say that who was he. So he came out with a gun and shoot shot them, and so that was what happened. So still we are uh, trying to find out, and the government says we arrested, but we don't know who that. Maybe it's ISIS, but we are not sure yet.
Not
So
sure still.
it's
And which country were the tourists who died? What country were they from?
it was, I think, from Spain.
Spain.
Yeah.
And were they with a tour group, a tour leader, or like a tour guide,
Yes,
or alone?
yeah, they were with a tour leader who was with a company. So I think I don't know still. I cannot confirm which it
Not
was. A,
sure. Yeah.
it was an international company
Okay.
that was so from Spain. So yeah, so because I'm not sure, but I know, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure 100%. So I can say here. So it
And we don't know
happened.
exactly why they were targeted.
No, no. It was the first time and 20 years. So they were like happened this. So it was really a big.
Now, when you
Uh,
say this was the first time in 20 years, you mean it was the first time that a group of tourists were targeted in 20 years?
Actually, it happens, but not in the big and safest cities. It happened
Okay.
like
In smaller
yeah.
locations.
I happened. It happened when I was in Afghanistan. It happened to another province, which was forbidden to travel in that time. It was not allowed from Bamiyan to Herat. So it was in
Right.
between. So even I was as a local, I was not going there. So in that time, there was one company, British company, tour company. So they
Okay.
were organizing. So then it happens, but we know at that time why it happens, because this place was everybody knows that security is not safe in this place. Anything can happen. But this
Okay.
place, like in Bamyan, the safest place,
Yeah.
and these people used to with tourists, and I used to walk to those shops, and I spend my days there, life there. So it happens. It was.
So that incident was very surprising because it was
Yes.
considered to be a safe
Yeah.
location.
Yeah.
But there have been also like aid workers who were taken hostage and killed in different parts of the country. But I don't know if that has happened recently, though.
I think it was also not. It was, I think, 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It was again. It was also not. Uh, so what we were uh, discussing about security is still some parts. The government doesn't have fully control. So that's the security.
Right.
It's very far. It's a very remote countryside. So it could be because of the poverty, people, maybe
Okay.
there's a robbers. So we cannot say it's a tourist attack
Okay.
this is one of the security risk that always we are talking, that if it's a tour
Got
guide,
it.
it's a tour company, and he can advise and where to go and where it's possible.
Got it. Tell us one popular misconception about Afghanistan. Thing that the public thinks about Afghanistan that is actually not correct.
Actually, what we as Afghan thinks that misconception is, people think as Afghans are like think that Afghans are, they think as that you're very dangerous people.
Okay.
so so they, because always
Like
they
terrorists?
terrorists. Yeah, so they feel that
Was that the word
Af-
you were thinking? Would that
yeah,
was that the word you couldn't think of? Terrorist?
maybe not tourists like us very strong still, but they're a little bit
Something like that.
like
I
let's
hate to
say.
laugh. I hate to laugh, but it is kind of funny.
Yeah, because I can tell you one story. When I was
But
in
you're
Europe,
such a nice guy. You're always smiling. How could anyone think you're a terrorist?
no, let's say I was in Europe, my first trip in Switzerland, in St. Moritz. I was in a lift. I was
Yeah.
going to. So then and one guy see us like a week there. We were seeing each other, but we were not talking. He asked me, "Where are you from?" When I said Afghanistan, and he was shocked, and
Mm,
he he was really, I feel that he was like afraid. I said,
yeah.
"Oh." So this was for me
He wanted to get away from you, right?
Yeah, so it was also the inside the left. So it was, yeah.
He
So I
couldn't get
think,
away, right?
yeah. So I
This
think
was
this is
inside the gondola?
the
This
gondola.
was inside the gondola, so he couldn't get out, right?
Yeah.
Oh
So
boy. Okay.
so
So
I
what tell me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I think the people of Afghanistan, those who traveled Afghanistan, do have connection with Afghans, and
Yeah.
they know, and
They know the truth,
the
right?
truth. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So tell me what are the best and worst things about your country? What are the worst things that you hope will change, and what are the best things that you hope will not change?
So I think the worst thing that I'm thinking about the ethnic issues, politically, it's really complicated. So
The relations between the different ethnic groups of
ethnic,
Afghanistan, the negative relations,
yes. So
conflict.
conflicts, and so I hope this. We are. I'm always afraid that Afghanistan should not get apart, because this is really the uh, one of the fear that I have. Yeah.
And what about the best thing?
The best thing is we have the people, the beautiful people. We have the politics and the powers, and this is a big uh, concern. But the people and the ordinary people, so they are amazing if they give them chance and give them the life. And so this is I feel, I think we are Afghanistan is one of the countries is amazing people. So there's very honest people, hospital people, and so they are peaceful, actually, the people. But only, and another thing, I'm really sometimes that one thing we will not, we cannot change it, is our neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, we really, yeah, like
All right.
especially Iran and Afghanistan and Pakistan. So we suffer a lot from them.
Yeah, that's for sure. All
Yeah.
right. So let's wrap up our conversation here. Let's tell the listeners where they can find you if they would like to contact you, if they have questions about Afghanistan. We can put it in the show notes. Can customers email you, or can people who are interested in visiting Afghanistan, how can they contact you, or where can they find you online? You're on Instagram, I think, too, right?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Silk Road Afghanistan Travel. So that's my Instagram, which is I'm
Silk
always,
Road Afghanistan Travel.
yes, and then also website. So Silk Road Afghanistan Travel.com.
Okay.
And
You don't have YouTube, do you? Or do you have a YouTube channel or no?
no, I don't have YouTube.
All right, maybe next. Maybe all right, maybe in 2025 we'll get YouTube also, okay? Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. I hope.
I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry that the interview went so long, but Afghanistan is such a fascinating country. It took me a long time to get through it because I'm so curious about this country. I hope someday that I will visit it. So thank you so much, and
Yeah.
folks, thank you so much for listening to our show. Please help us spread the word by subscribing to the Mad Traveler podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're listening to this as a podcast, I hope you please will like the video and leave a comment. Also, if you have questions about Afghanistan, this really helps us with the algorithm. So long for now. Next time, we'll be talking about Albania. But Gull, anything else you'd like to say?
So I just want to thank you, and also uh, I invite people to visit beautiful Afghanistan, and don't leave Afghanistan alone. And please go meet people at least. And that's the what the support that you can do, and go and meet people, because they really need a friendship, and they need the world to be connected with them.
That's a good point. It benefits the local people also too, doesn't it? To have a chance to meet people who are from far away, to gain different perspectives, and to see that they don't really hate Afghanistan, and that that they are curious about Afghanistan and would like to come visit. It really helps for international understanding, doesn't it? For us to
Yes.
be communicating with each other and to be traveling to places like this, right?
Yeah, 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 that's true.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you.
Teshakur.
Thank you. Dera Manana.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Okay.